We're finally going to talk about a topic I've been avoiding, and that is pricing. So the first thing that I want to say about pricing is obviously it is one of the most difficult parts of starting a business is figuring out kind of where you fit on the pricing spectrum. And I think a big part of that is because ultimately your pricing is going to come down to you, what you think your time is worth. So maybe when you're starting your business, you're taking a few events that are at face value, are at break even. If you're doing that, find ways that you can utilize that. So when we started, we did a few events pretty cheap. Pricing I would not suggest nor do now, but it did help in some ways in terms of getting content, being able to share, and learn from the experiences, because obviously our first event went nowhere as smooth as the events that we do now that they're weekly. So obviously there's a bunch of ways you could choose to break down your pricing. I'm going to talk about what I found works for us. So when we started out, we were doing a per cup price, and pretty immediately that became an issue for us. People would email a few days before the event being like, hey, some people backed out. Can we get discounted pricing now that they won't be there? Others would try to maybe get a discount on, oh, well, this many people are coming, but I'm sure they won't all be drinking coffee, because we based it on how many people attended an event. Some of the events that we were doing were kind of open house style, so the organizer wasn't exactly sure how many people would be coming in. So it just got really complicated really fast, and there was a lot to keep up with. After doing a few events, we kind of found a number that we felt really comfortable in saying we could serve in an hour. So we do all espresso-based drinks, and we feel 50 people per hour is like a really, really safe number that we can give. So from that, we found pricing model that works best for us is hourly. So when people reach out, we send them our packages. They are hourly packages for one bar. For us, one bar either has one or two baristas, same pricing, based on kind of how many people are at your event. So if I need support or not is kind of how we'll determine that. So in saying that we can serve 50 people an hour, that kind of lets people booking us know, okay, this is how many drinks they'll be able to get out, and they can kind of determine how many hours they would like us there. We do have a minimum hourly, so no matter what, we have to be booked for 2 hours, and then we do also charge a booking fee. So your booking fee covers, at least in our case, to hold the date so that nobody backs out or you're not passing up on another event, and it's also for all the prep work that goes into it. So getting your milks, loading up the cart, maybe you have customizations. There's a lot of prep time that goes into that, and it also covers kind of the wear and tear on your equipment. So that is our booking fee, gets charged no matter what, and that needs to be paid before your date is technically held. If you cancel your event, technically we get to keep that booking fee, or you can reschedule and apply that booking fee to another event. So that just ensures if we're holding that date, we at least get something even if everything else is canceled. The hourly rate is 1,000,000% where your time and what you feel is worth it comes into it. So you could kind of estimate this loosely off of how much is your average drink, what would you charge for that if you were just charging for the drink, and then how many drinks can you serve in an hour. You can kind of get a rough idea of what you should be charging hourly based on that. It obviously needs to be a number that you're comfortable with, and it's going to be based on your baristas. So how much are you paying them? Will you have a second person with you? You need to remember, like, not 100% of that money will be take home. It is dependent on how much it costs you to make a drink. Milk in Michigan might be cheaper than milk in New York. So that's where kind of I like the hourly model, but I feel when it comes to your hourly rate, that's really going to be dependent on your numbers, what you're paying your people. Other things, like some areas it is a lot harder, maybe if you're in like a downtown area, to navigate parking, loading, unloading. Maybe it's a little less car friendly, and obviously you need a vehicle to move your bar. So different things like that, I feel like all needs to go into consideration with your hourly. When you're kind of building this invoice, a few other things to consider is your miles. So we have a certain radius. We say we'll travel within this radius. Any more than that, we will start adding a mileage charge. And that you can just look up like what is the, mileage charge in your state, and we just charge it at like the going rate basically. You will be putting a lot of miles on your vehicle, so you want to keep that in mind. To kind of recap, we have our booking fee that gets paid, and then we have our hourly, and we have a 2-hour minimum. So we know no matter what, like we're making X amount of dollars at the end of the day. Some events, when we're in them, we're cranking drinks out and we shoot way above 50 drinks an hour. Some events we go to and there's not that many people and we don't hit the 50 drinks an hour. So I find with the hourly model, it kind of balances itself out over time in terms of events where you're serving more or serving less. But I do think it's perfectly reasonable to kind of pace yourself. Something I'm trying to get better about. Like if I say I can do 50 drinks, you don't really have to overshoot, because there are some events like on college campuses, things like that, when people see free, they're just gonna flock you. And so I'll just try to keep up because it's kind of like beat into your head. But obviously remember that you are being paid for an hourly time and you did promise a certain amount of cups in that time, but it doesn't mean you have to like over or undershoot. I don't know if that makes sense. There's something my husband told me the other day that has really been like kind of sticking in my mind, and that's you'll always be leaving some level of money on the table. So you could always charge more and more and more, and you could make your experience more premium. You could add on all these different things, but at the end of the day, it's going to be how much do you feel comfortable walking away with. It does take time to kind of find that range for yourself, and what price can you set for an event where you feel like your time and energy and effort was worth it. That kind of brings me into add-ons. So what are some ways you can make your events more of a premium experience? If it's going to be an event for a brand, maybe like a business, a grand opening, a corporate event, and they want it to be branded, a lot of conferences really like that, we have an option to brand the cups. You can put we put custom stickers on them. You can fully wrap and brand the front of our bar. That's an add-on. And we also have the option to make some of those like stencils that you can put mocha powder on top of. So the client really gets the choice to customize, basically white label the bar. It's something we do. Not everybody loves that. And if they don't, then it does have our branding on it. So with that, the client gets a fully customized experience. Sometimes we miss out on having our name on something, but it does get kind of the ticket price up. With that said, a lot more work goes into that. You need to remember to grab all the custom things. You're going to spend extra time kind of stickering cups, getting the bar made up, and you'll need like a relationship with a print shop if somebody wants something custom last minute that you can get it printed within 24 hours and know it's still going to look good, it's going to fit right, all that jazz. There are so many other things you can do to kind of have those little add-ons. Some people do balloon arches, custom florals, do whatever you can to make it your own. But I see those as things that clients can choose to add on, but don't necessarily have to. So I know what my base pay is, I know what I'll be getting no matter what, and then people can always customize from there and add on. Same with hours. They can always add on hours. If there's gonna be a ton of people, they can add a second bar. We have 2, so you could do 2 bars at once, which would be 4 baristas. And then we have a custom menu option. So we like to bring just the absolute like top flavors, our standard menu with us. We do vanilla caramel mocha. Pretty much anybody's happy with that. But if we have a client that does want a custom menu, maybe a special drink, a lot of brides in the summer like a lavender vanilla. Some people really want chai, which isn't automatically on our menu. That would be the custom menu charge. And with that, you can name the drink something fun. So you could name it your new last name, name it after your dog, do whatever you want, and have a little like cute custom menu. So there's really no limit to add-ons. If you're new to pricing, I think one thing that's really important to remember is you won't be for everyone. So I had a really hard time at the beginning not making everyone's budget fit into my offerings. And eventually, as you get busier, you start to realize that a lot of those events that you're offering so many freebies, or you're doing things like at cost are taking really valuable time away that you could be marketing to your ideal client. So yes, when we upped our prices, maybe we lost a few people, but were they really giving me the return that I needed to be working the hours that I was working or driving the distance I was driving? Personally, we still always do some community events where we'll donate hot chocolate, drip, we'll do things kind of at cost for different like organizations within our city. We do waive the booking fee for like teacher appreciation events, for schools, things like that. I don't think it's something you necessarily have to do, but it's going to be important early on to kind of decide what events you want to be giving that time and energy to, because people will always ask for the absolute minimum. They will always want to pay you the absolute least amount. So I think staying true to kind of your worth is really going to help you grow, and the clients that are right for you will find you over time. Now, I know this video probably wasn't the straight up answer of this is what you should be charging, but it really does take a lot of thinking and practicing, and your pricing might even grow with your business. Decide who your client is, decide what type of events you want to serve, who else is in your area, and just stay true to knowing what you want your time to be worth, what is realistic for you and your lifestyle, and kind of build your packaging from there. But overall, we found that hourly model with a booking fee, up to you if you want to add mandatory gratuity or allow your customers to add gratuity. That's all in your hands, and that's like the beauty and sometimes the worst part of owning your own business. I hope this helped. Cheers.